okay now. We're finally here. We're a bit late, but we're here. Gonna catch up with chat and say hi to everyone. We're gonna just have a bit of a ramble at first, because obviously it's been a long time, so I think we should chat for a bit. Just catch up. And I'm gonna catch up with you guys about what I've been doing as well. And you guys are gonna tell me what you've been doing too, I hope. So Rod said, how have you been? Well, we're going to get into that. I'm going to tell you everything. I'm going to confess what's been going on since, when did I last stream? I know it was in mid-April. I think my last stream was mid-April, so it's been about 6 weeks. I know it's not been quite 2 months, but it's been more than 1 month. Way much longer off than I thought I'd have off. Put it that way. And Rex as well, everybody send some hype in chat for that crazy long sub. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you all being here. It's always a bit nerve-wracking first stream back. And Rod says, how did the moving go? And hi Nungi and Met. Hi Rose, I'm going to bed. Hope you have a good day. Hi, how are you doing Nungi? I hope you have a good sleep, because it's super late for you. You're all across the other side of the world. And how is your garden, Met? Met's been having the same hassles with their garden that I've had with my house. I'm gonna have breakfast and then watch for the post. Hope you all have a good day. Yeah, you too, Rod. Thanks for stopping in. I hope you get some good post and not horrible post. I had a letter yesterday that I didn't want to open. Also, I've had my vaccine. That reminded me, because I did have a letter about my vaccine last week, and I got my first injection last week. I forgot what day now, but all good. Surprisingly, I was fine. I didn't have any side effects. Absolutely fine. And I was shocked, because usually I go funny from medical things, antibiotics and all that, but I was fine with that vaccine. Just been reading and other things a bit. Bunch awesome. Yeah, so tell me everyone, what have you been doing? What has life been like? Because a long time has passed since I last streamed, so has anything big happened, or has it been same old? Same old. Yo Rose, it's been a while. How you been? Hi Proto, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by everybody. I'm a bit late. I wanted to start before 3 today. I was like, I'm going to get on here early today, and I made sure I did and everything, but then the lighting problems happened. So, but we're here, and everything's good. And how have you been, Proto? I have been, well, what can I say? Everything's just hectic, which isn't a shock, because I just moved house. First time in my life as well I've ever moved house, so that makes it an even bigger deal. I've never done it before. I have, like, lived places temporary, but never like a proper house move. I lived away for a bit when I finished university and was doing like internships, but that was only for like 2 or 3 months. So I didn't really feel the weight of moving, because it wasn't really a proper move, but this was. It was everything. Hello, glad to see you all. Hi Art Rover, how are you doing today? It's so good to see you today. How are things? I'm going to be rambling for a bit on what I've been doing and how things are now and what's going on next. And you guys can tell me what you've been up to since we last spoke as well, if you want to. And hope moving was good and that you're all settled until Thursday, hopefully. Yes, Thursday I will be streaming again, everyone. I'm back to my regular, consistent schedule now. So I'll be sticking to that same times, of course. I wanted to come back 1st of June. I thought that's an awesome day to come back. 1st of June, new month. Fresh start and all that. It's my birthday this month as well, but that's not till the end of the month. We're not gonna I don't know if I'm streaming on my birthday. Let me just check on the calendar. Actually, it might not even be. Oh, I am. It's a Thursday on my birthday. Well, it's still 3 weeks away, so we're still a bit away. maybe we'll launch a Steam page for then. That'll be a cool birthday, wouldn't it? If we time the Steam page release for the end of June. It's not the last week in June. It's the 24th. My birthday is 24th of June, so it's just before the last week in June. So yeah, that'll be cool. We'll see. Because I'm not like gonna be putting too much pressure on myself because things are pretty busy. The house is having a lot of work done on it. That's why it's took me so long to stop streaming again. Otherwise, I would have just started streaming after the week of moving. But there's been so many jobs that have been done, like house renovations and all that sort of thing. And I don't like that kind of thing. I'm one of these people that just want to move and just not have my creativity or anything like that interrupted, just whatever's easiest, right? That's me. But my family are the opposite. They're very much into getting everything right, getting everything done, no matter what. I don't know. So I've had to like come to terms with that a bit, that it's been a bit of a disruption, and yeah, just acceptance is important, because it can be easy to just feel a bit guilty and get a bit in a bit of a, you know, over not being able to work, but you gotta just get over it. Hi Fantasia, how are you doing? I want to resub to Rose so much. Oh my goodness, Fantasia, well, no matter if you're a sub or not a sub, you're still awesome. Especially if you come to hang out in these streams and say hi and chat and all that, and, you know, talk with me and all those things. So I appreciate you all. You've not forgotten me. Nobody's forgot me. That's great. And well, fine, I will resub since you are indifferent. Oh my god, Fantasia, thank you so much for that sub. Let's give some hype in chat. That is another humongous sub. Where is the bat? Let me just get him. Thank you, Fantasia. This is for Fantasia and Rex, because they've resubbed today, with both in the 40-month bracket. So that is massive. Been supporting me well before I even begun Raindrop Chronicles. I've got a nice little spot for the bat mascot as well in this new room. It's really good. I've got a really roomy big space now. I have 2 rooms. Before it was a bit of a squash, so that's really awesome. I'm still settling because I'm a bit of a creature of habit. I like routine. I like planning. I like staying in my comfort zone. So changes can be weird to me, but I'm doing okay, and I'm sure I'll forget the old house in no time. I'm sure I will. Rex is here. He made me follow him. Did I? What did he say to make you follow him, Fantasia? Oh my goodness, I mean, I've got so much to say, and I don't know if I'm going to even be able to cover it all. And I've switched to this screen. Oh, no, that way. I've flipped my camera actually, so I was doing that when I should be going that way. But I want to like show off you. Avatars walking across. I like chatting on this screen. Plus, the lighting isn't perfect today. There's a bit of green screen on the edges, but luckily it's cropped off on this screen. So I'm not using big camera screen that as well. I hold people hostage until they follow me. Yeah, that's Rex all over. No, Rex is the opposite of that. Don't worry, everybody. Don't want you getting the wrong idea about Rex and thinking he's something he's not. Don't even think you recognised it was me when I followed. Did you, did you, Rex? Did you know it was Fantasia? Did you think, oh, that's Fantasia, that really awesome person that supports Rose? You should have. You better have, Rose. Okay, what next? What am I going to say next? Well, so as it says, there's been a lot of work being done on the house. It's not finished. We're not even halfway through probably, but obviously I wasn't gonna keep stay on this stream hiatus until it's done, because we'd be waiting until next year. I'm not even joking. So if I was going to wait, there would have just been no streams for the rest of the year, and I wasn't going to be doing that, was I? So, I mean, fingers crossed there's not any interruptions, like on the days I'm streaming. I'm hoping that any like work that has to be done can be done on my days off from the stream. But of course I'll keep you all updated in the Discord on important news if it turns out that there has to be a stream cancellation for something to do with that, because I can't promise that it's going to be super regular for the rest of this year. I'd love to say it will be, and I'm going to try my best for it to be, but with how things are going with the house and at the moment, it wouldn't surprise me if there's a bit of messiness and a few cancellations now and then for the rest of the year. But I'll always keep you notified, folks, and like I said, gonna try my hardest for it to not mess things up too much, because I want to get back into the routine. I want playable builds out before the end of the year, and most certainly the Steam page. And honestly, I wouldn't put it past me to have your name fly right over my head, Fantasia. I'm that much of a goof. Oh no. Yeah, Rex is very forgetful. He even forgets my birthday, so don't worry, Fantasia, it's nothing personal. But Rex has been really good lately because he makes sure to remember my birthday. He never used to, but he really tries his hardest now, so I appreciate that, Rex. Jokes on us when Rose means that work is being done on the house. She means half the house is inhabited by Smurfs. Imagine if there was some scary blue people in the house, I would actually be a bit scared. But I'm not very good with strangers and people making noise in the house. That's one of my pet peeves. Who's the same as me? I think a lot of people don't like that, in all honesty. And I don't like it. It makes me moody, and again, because it interrupts me in my space, so anything that does that makes me moody. So it's a challenge to stay creative in this time. To be honest, I'm surprised I still have a shred of creativity left in me. Things have been hectic, but weirdly I do. I must just be obsessed with Raindrop Chronicles. So yes, one thing we will be doing today is refreshing ourselves, rediscovering what we was last working on, and reminding ourselves of what we've recently done and what's next on the agenda. And we'll probably make a little list of streams that are coming up as well, and what's going to be the focus over the next quarter of the year. We're not on the next quarter yet. June's still quarter 2, isn't it? But yes, with anything like deadlines, if you check the Trello, folks, if we get that up now, actually, it's weird in the room because my monitor, the way my desk is a bit different now, and I'm using OBS on my other monitor. My camera's on the other monitor and my work's on this monitor instead now, so I'm like getting all confused, but I'm sure I'll get used to it and get back into it. So yeah, if you look at the Trello, I've put very rough estimated dates, could change, because I like to give a rough estimated date because it keeps me it stops me straying too much. Otherwise, if I didn't have an estimated date, there wouldn't be a first playable build to like 2025 probably. So it's good for me to say when there'll be one, just so I have a rough idea. But I never like to commit too rigidly to them, because one, it puts pressure on you and can create burnout. So I see it as, it's there, but it's always subject to change or being extended if there's ever any hold-ups. And super originally, back at the start of last year, I wanted the first playable build out in the winter. And then it got pushed back to the spring because I knew that there was no way anything of good quality would be out in the winter it'd just be rushed and a mess. And now I've put like a sun symbol to like say perhaps in the summer, but it would be more towards the late summer. But again, that's still a rough estimated date if there's ever, so I'm being kind to myself this season because of the house move. I think you've got to. I recommend anybody does if there's ever hold-ups in your life, because that's life. It's not realistic for me to expect that I can spend the rest of my life doing Raindrop Chronicles uninterrupted. Of course, the other things will take priority now and again, and that sort of thing happens. And I think if you accept that and don't punish yourself and that happens, then you end up doing better mentally through it all, and you don't get angry with yourself. So yes, I'm being patient and taking it a step at a time. In fact, I'm going to see the summer as a time to obviously make progress and do more and get it to a good state, this first Playable build, and continue to keep building. But at the same time, I'm not going to be like rigid about myself in this summer, because I'm not usually productive in the summer. Out of all the seasons, summer's probably my least productive season because I'm not very good with the heat. So I'm going to have to buy myself a big fan as well soon, because I'll be absolutely sweating like a pig in this stream room, because this house holds the heat apparently. Jokes on us when Rose means that work is being done on the house, she means half a house. I already read that bit. I'm a goof. I tend to do that a lot. Reread your stream chats. So yes, we're gonna just take it easy for a bit, and today we're definitely gonna have a take it easy stream, because oh my goodness, it's my first stream back in weeks, and also I had a nightmare with the lighting earlier and I need to chill. And yeah, we'll just make a list of what we're going to do in the coming weeks, and we'll remind ourselves what we're doing. We might do some Law Bible stuff today as well, because I think we might get a bit of time to do some things. Hi Yorkshire, hello. Just wondering is the pre-alpha a playable demo of the game? The pre-alpha will be the very, very first playable demo of the game, Yorkshire. So, because what I'm intending to do is, obviously, episode 1 of Roots and Rumours it's going to be a while till it's released. When I think of the Raindrop Chronicles series as a whole, I actually don't think of it as a series as a whole, because that's too overwhelming. I kind of do, because I'm writing a story outline, and you have to sort of see the end game, even vaguely at this point, because otherwise it'll take you by surprise when the time comes and you won't have a clue what you're doing. In regards to the story and things, but in regards to the development side of things, I try to put that to the side and focus fully on episode 1 as a whole, and see that as a game in itself without thinking of what's to come at this stage. So yeah, Roots and Rumours is going to be the longest game in development, of course, because that's setting all the framework, the whole entire thing. The episodes that follow will all follow the same menu design and battle system and quest system, etc, etc. So it'll be more like rebuilding a new story, the next part of the story, on top of the existing framework that was made for episode 1 when the time comes to develop the others. So because of that in mind, episode 1, it's probably going to be double, even 3 times as long as the development of what's to come in the future, the other episodes, I'd say. Because that framework, getting it all set up, is a big part, and we're still doing it now before the release of the first playable build. And even the first playable build, it'll be very basic. The menu design won't be done, or as it will look at the end. It's going to just be the standard RPG Maker menu at first, I believe, in that first playable build, because I'm not even focusing on things, that side of things. It's mainly just getting a bit at a time with each build done. and have it in phases, which is kind of like how it is there. Hi Kung, how are you doing? It's so good to see you. How are you? Have you been? Are you liking the new place? I'm starting to get more settled now, Kung, which is great. It still feels a bit strange, but I'm getting there, and I'm certainly more settled now than I was in the first week. It felt very strange in the first week, and I think it still feels a bit weird because I haven't yet streamed. I mean, I am now, but after a few streams and doing this, I think I'll feel even more settled and back to normal then. Glaze, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. How are you though, Kung? How are things going? And everyone else in chat, how have you been the last several weeks since I've been away because of my house move? I took over 10 years to vet, so you're technically pretty ahead of the curve. Exactly, Proto Man. And that's kind of the mindset I try to have, because I'm a solo developer. I'm working in the RPG Maker engine, which isn't hugely ambitious. So many people have pulled off solo RPG projects in that engine. But I am definitely stretching that engine as far as it can go though, so I'm definitely taking it quite far with what I'm trying to achieve in it. But and because of that, you have to be sort of see it as a journey. A lot of people I see on the social medias and on the internet, and sometimes even in the stream, sort of have the mindset that's more of a rushing mindset. They describe game development as game dev hell, which I don't see it as that. I see it as game dev fun, not a hell, because it's the whole reason I'm doing this is to have fun, to have a journey. It's not so much about the end product. Well, it is about the end product, but I don't think of it like that. I think about it as the journey that it takes to get there, and all the little things you do to put it together along the way, and how cool that is, and seeing that all slowly unfold rather than imagining the end thing, because that would be overwhelming. And hi Azriel, how you doing? Thank you so much for stopping by and for the sub. 21 months for Azriel. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. And Tetsu coming in as well with another sub at 41 months. Third one in a row, Tetsu today within the 40 streak of sub months. That's fantastic. I appreciate the support, you two. So we're going to get some hype in the chat for both Azriel and Tetsu, everybody. If you'd like to add a bit of hype, that would be great. So thank you everybody for coming in, stopping in and not forgetting me. I appreciate you lads, all of you who are here. Yeah. So guys, you tell me all about what you've been up to, because I'm sure that there's a lot that's happened to us all in the last several weeks, right? I mean, usually my life is pretty much the same every week, but yeah, it's been more eventful in the last several weeks because of the move. And I've just been rambling on today. Today's stream is more about a chat about getting back into the project after the break and just having a catch up. But we will go back to the world building once we've finished the rambles and remind ourselves where we left off, and then we'll carry on. And we'll also make a list of streams that will be on the cards in the coming weeks as well, what's coming up. And it is June, and it is my birthday towards the end of the month. I'm kind of thinking there could be, I would like to do something special for that, like something Raindrop Chronicles related, such as a cool announcement, maybe the Steam page, because that was something I was on the way to getting submitted with Steam. I actually bought the Steam page months ago for Raindrop Chronicles, so all of it's there, and it's just about sending it to Steam now and getting it approved and getting all the screenshots and that done and put up, and trailer and stuff. So we'll say, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, that's definitely going to be what we'll be doing for my birthday, celebrating the Steam coming soon page, of course, not the actual game, just so we know it's going to be coming soon. We'll be there for a long time, because that's the kind of plan, is to build hype so peeps can wishlist the game and can all, you know, be slowly build a sort of awesome little community here of so that when the game finally does come out, there'll be people excited to play it. So good to see you, and you, Kung, and you. It's so good to be back. I thought things were going to go all wrong, because as soon as I opened OBS, the lighting was a mess today, so I was late, which isn't surprising because it's a complete new room, so the lighting has to be done differently to how it was in the old room. I'm thirsty. Hey Rose, you have been missed, Tetsu says. Oh my goodness, has it felt like a long time to you all since I've been gone, would you say? Or has it gone by quick? Because for me it's strange, it feels like forever, in all honesty, but it actually hasn't been forever. It's just been about a month and a half. But it feels like a year. It really does, but that's probably because there's been a lot going on and a lot's happened. But it's really cool. I mentioned on my latest announcement, I think it was the latest announcement anyway, let's go up. Yeah, this one here. I have a new animal friend I met in our new garden. Can't wait to tell you all about him and post some cute pics. Yes, so other than all the DIY and workman jobs that are happening in the house, the only other newsworthy announcement about what's been happening here is that we have a stray feral cat in our garden, living in our garden. They've been living in our garden the whole time the house has been empty, and they have their own sleeping spot behind a tree in our garden, and they're always there sleeping when they go to sleep. And we're feeding it. We're gonna take it to cat protection to be checked because we think he needs medical treatment, looking at his fur, and it's only right that we do that. But he's not going to be rehomed or anything. We don't want him to be, because this is his home. So he's going to be brought back into our garden when he's been looked at. And we can't get him out in our house though. He's very shy, but it's kind of our mission. We're going to try and do that. We're going to try and get him eventually coming in, but we just want him to be happy most of all, and we're just making sure he's well looked after and fed. Oh my goodness, Coda, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Yeah, happy Pride Month, everybody. Have some hype for those bitties from Coda. How are you doing, Coda? Welcome back to the stream. I'm back, and hi Timmy as well. How are you doing? How are you doing? I've just been rambling, everyone. It's been a rambly chat so far about what's been going on for me since my break. And how are you guys? Those of you coming in, those of you popping in, what have you been up to? I'm good. Hi, I'm Sleep. How is your like game dev life going, both Coda and Timmy? Because I know both of you do that kind of thing too. How is things on that side for you? I mean, as for me, obviously the house move has been a disruption, can't lie there. There's jobs going on, it's hard to be completely creative, and interruptions have stopped me being able to stream for the last 6 weeks, but I'm finally back into my regular schedule. I'm going to commit to it now, so it'll be Tuesday and Thursday every week again, and can't promise it's going to be like I'm going to be streaming every single Tuesday and Thursday forever for the rest of the year. There could be the odd cancelled stream if there was a big job going on, but fingers crossed it's not going to be too disruptive. But make sure you're in the Discord for announcements, folks, so that you kept up to date with things like that. Though I try to keep, I say it everywhere I can. I've even started to put news on the website now about things like that. So, and said some stuff I did on Discord. Other than that, I've been doing a lot of cooking lately and practice driving the new car yesterday. Oh, sounds fun. Cooking. What have you been cooking? That sounds awesome. We're having pizza for dinner today. Delivery pizza though, not homemade pizza, but delivery pizza is still amazing. So I'm looking forward to that. And just posted on the Twitter for Picture Game. Was up all night working on the video for the pitch. Oh really? It's another Picture Game thing, is it? See, I'm completely not in the know because of the fact I've been away and preoccupied and distracted. I didn't even know there was a Picture Game, otherwise I might have done it myself, but that'll be another time. But GG to me. Hope that goes well for you. I was the exact same when I did the trailer for the Picture Game the first time. I was up the whole night and I did it all in one night, and I didn't think I was going to finish it because, yeah. Wow. And Coda, I did a game jam in RPG Maker 2003 that went well. Was nice to play around with the limitations of an old engine. Now back to my main game in MV. I'm looking forward to seeing more Raindrop Chronicles. Yeah, I'm really excited to get back into it too. It's going to be a bit of a catch up. Like, we was doing world building the last few weeks before the move, and I want to remind myself of that world building as well, and I'm sure you guys want to be reminded too. And we will be having, there will be some more world building streams sprinkled over the summer because we're nowhere near finished, but there's also going to be other kinds of streams too. There'll be some more story streams because I want us to start making more progress with the story arc of episode 1, and what's going to be happening in the middle and at the end, and fleshing it out more. As well as making the more NPCs as well, in lake form, and reptile NPCs as well, living in the cave, because there's not many NPCs so far in the game. We've got Carol the Barrel and her kin, her fellow family. We've got Nigel and his sister. We've got Duncan, who's recently made, and of course we've got the hero, the protagonist. But and we got Violet as well, the vampire, and we got a whole bunch of community characters too that haven't entered the game yet, but some of them will slowly. And we're definitely going to populate Lakefall more, and it's been on the cards for a while to start creating the other characters that are living there. But we might do that after we've sort of fleshed out what's going to be happening in the main quest, so we can make sure we make NPCs that complement the story and sort of make it fit, so that we haven't got random characters just living in the world that don't fit with what's going on. We can actually shape those characters with the world we're creating and the story creating better. So yes. And the stream cut out. Maybe it's just my internet connection, and then Twitch put up another ad because it reset. There seems to be something up with my connection here. Oh no, is it all right for everyone else in chat, or is this something that's happening in general? Let me know, folks, because I am at a new place myself, so I'm also curious myself what my new internet's like, because it's a brand new internet I've got as well. A better one though, apparently. It's an even better one. So yeah, fingers crossed that it doesn't cut out for me either. Completely forgot that I've actually got a new internet. So stream okay for me, that's good, but hopefully it gets fixed for you, Matt. Hopefully you can be joined up with the stream again soon. Silly ads as well. How dare they? How dare they? Pizza, yeah, pizza's the best. But yeah, Timmy, I'm probably going to have a little spy on your Twitter later because I'm curious about your pitch the game thing. So yeah, I'll be having a nosy. I have a nosy, and I hope your game's going all right. How's the dev? Is it progressing well? I mean, obviously with Raindrop Chronicles, it's slow right now, especially because of the house move. But there is definitely cool things coming. Steam page launch coming soon. Steam page is the next newsworthy announcement we'll probably be having. I haven't got a date for it yet, but I'm kind of aiming for my birthday, but I can't promise it. And then after the Steam page, it would be the third Playable build, but that will probably be extended, the date for when that's released, more than likely, because of the move stopping development, and 2, because I've been working on something else that sort of put a little bit of a delay to the game dev. It's related to Raindrop Chronicles though, what I've been working on. And that's going to be what I'm going to be revealing on Thursday, because if you're on the Discord, folks, I've mentioned a few times. I've been working on a little something for Raindrop Chronicles while all this has been going on, something I've been finding very therapeutic for all this, which I'll be showing off on the 250th stream milestone. We're just one stream away from that. Yeah, we're on stream 249 today of Raindrop Chronicles. How many? That's like, if I was streaming every single day, that wouldn't even be a year. So although it seems like a big number, it's actually not. And people can be like, whoa, you must have finished the game because 250. No. When Raindrop Chronicles finished, we're more likely going to have 10k streams. We'll have 100 times as much as this. Oh wow, that's probably a bit of a stretch, because then I'd have to be immortal if I was gonna get up to 10k milestone for streams, I think. But who knows? I'm a vampire, so I might be able to go on for that long. Regular job interfering with my game dev stuff, but I'll get there, yes. Yeah, that would be a thing too, so I've got my fingers crossed for you, Timmy, that you can do your game full time one day so that you can focus on it. Fingers crossed for you. You can become rich from your game. You can be a game dev forever. That's the dream, right? Okay, so yes, as we can on, it's stream 150 on Thursday, so that is a pretty big milestone, and I wanted to make it more than just a normal boring stream. Not that these streams are boring, these streams are great. What am I talking about? But you know, more than just an ordinary average stream. So there will be something I'm going to be showing to you on that day that I've been working on. It's not the Steam page, because that's something that's going to be coming up. And it's not the third Playable build, because that's been delayed. But it is something else that I think is pretty cool. But we'll see what you guys say. I think it's definitely worthy of hype. It's quite a big thing. I guess it depends on, it's subjective, I suppose. Some people might think it's a big deal, and others might think, not really a big deal. So we'll see, won't we? Hype. But it's all good, like, just to give you a clue, because I don't want to reveal what it is, this thing. I think it's I think it's like a really cool direction for the game, and it's going to help it stand out more and shine, and the potential for it is just bigger. So that's all I'm going to say is what the clue is. And I won't be here for 250. Ooh, wow. There will be the VOD, and the stream will get uploaded onto YouTube. The stuff that I'll be revealing in that next stream won't be put on Twitter or social media, because I want to share it with you guys first before I share it with the world. But eventually I'm going to also showcase it on Twitter too, when I feel the time is right. Because what I'll be showing you guys is going to be more of a sneak peek thing rather than a finished product. And I'm going to be revealing what it is if I'm not careful here. But yes, I'm not going to tweet about it, is all I'm going to say. Not quite yet, but I might put it on the website. We'll see. But yes, the VOD will be there, or the YouTube video, because the VODs eventually expire. And then I always upload the YouTube video at least a couple days or a few days after I've done the live stream. So if you're not subbed to me on YouTube, make sure you are, because that's the place where you can like literally watch the whole journey. And I've recently titled all the videos properly as well, with something relevant to that particular stream. So it's a little bit more organised now, and I've got everything in playlists too. So it's much more of a pleasure to look through and watch now than how it used to be on the YouTube. It was all just a big mess before. So yes, I'm not going to talk any more about Stream 250 today, because that's going to be what we talk about then, and we'll ramble about that then. So for today now, we are going to carry on, and we might do some Lore Bible articles too. World building. Okay, this was the last thing we see before the break. This is overwhelming even for me, because I forgot everything. I need to reset and remember everything too. So, okay. So what we're gonna do is actually, let's make a new doc first, because what I want to do is something else alongside this. List of streams coming up. Make this a bit bigger though. Shall we make this page thing a bit bigger for us? There we go. That's a bit better, right? Bullet point. I've been as well as off stream, I've been watching videos on the 3-act structure, and also the 6-act structure, funnily enough, because there's a modified version of the 3-act structure called the 6-act structure, and I found it all very fascinating. It's very cool. It's a tried and tested, proven method with structuring, doing your story skeleton and that, and all the plot points and those key points in the narrative when things happen that sort of hook the audience in and all that. It's all very cool. All the best filmmakers and novelists follow it to a certain degree. It's not as rigid as it sounds though. You can be flexible with it. It's not like you have to follow a rigid template, but it helps a ton. And it's going to be very inspiring for when we go on and continue mapping out the rest of episode 1's story, because Roots and Rumours is nowhere near close storytelling wise to being finalised. Obviously we've written main quest 1 and 2, and that's what the first playable build's going to have in it. Story wise, that's done, but there's always room for improvement too and adding in. I mean, we had a dialogue overhaul a couple of months back with main quest 1 and 2, and it's so much better now. It's a really cool standard, but so I'm gonna write that first. Let's get that in. Continue writing, planning/writing, episode 1, main quest. And the main quest of episode 1 is really the priority with the story, because that's the overarching storyline. And of course there'll be side quests and that as well, but the side quests are going to be better to think of together once that episode 1 main quest is already written and planned, because then we can make sure we have it all linked thematically and make them sort of extensions of the main quest with their own little stories and that. Otherwise we have the risk of just doing side quests that are completely random and no connection to what the main story is about. And it's always cool to have like links and parallels and all that thing within writing. We've already got one side quest that we've written, the Stumpy side quest, which that to me it's already, that's sort of the heart of Roots and Rumours, with the themes that are gonna be covered there. And so it's not like it's irrelevant. Stumpy thing is completely relevant to what's happening and going on. Alright, so that's one thing. I might actually get some subheadings here. So this is story stuff in particular. Let's make a bit, yeah, there we go. So that's story, because there's going to be a few different subheadings here, but this is very rough. I'm not going to spend too long doing this, but I want some kind of guide of what kind of streams we're going to be having coming up, so we're not completely blank. And then we'll catch up reading for our world building doc. I'll make this bigger. Why has it gone back to normal size? You guys need to see it. Okay, so I've put miscellaneous because there's other stuff that isn't related to the general game dev here. Create. Oh, why there's big text? Okay, so everything's going silly. There we go. Someone in this stream is going to have their name written here now. Create Met's character, because, well, Met's been very patient waiting for their stream avatar to be walking across and having a bio. So their character profile has been in the to-do list on the Trello for a bit of time. There's nobody else, it's only you, Met, so it's only you for now. I'm pretty sure there's a few folks in here that have hit the 1,000 raindrops recently that are definitely eligible to create a character too. So feel free to fill that in. I mean, we will be doing a bit of an update to the forms on the website for submitting your own character soon. Because as time goes on, especially as we start fleshing out this main quest and really getting the lore fleshed out as we have been, as time goes on, it's almost going to be impossible to have anybody here like write whoever they want, because it might not even fit with the lore we're making. So the forms are going to have to be made a bit more vague and open-ended, so that we have myself, and the community of us that get stuck in and write together. We need the freedom, and the last thing we want is something that contradicts the lore that's already been written. And a lot of the characters that have been submitted, to be honest, don't contradict. Because a lot of you have made them generally quite open-ended anyway. But those that, if there is any that do, and I don't believe there's any that do that greatly right now, but somewhere along the line there might have to be a couple of little adjustments, but we'll still keep at the heart and the vision of the character that's being made still. So at some point, yeah, we might make a slight edit of the form so that it things don't go too way off with the story. And yeah, when Met's characters are done, we'll have them walking across stream avatars, and we'll have it'll really cool and have a part profile on the lore Bible and stuff. So maybe next week for that, we'll say, because whenever we're at a good point where we're stuck on what to do. But I think it's actually a good point to do it soon, because before we get in the flow of writing any main quest or doing any more intense world building, it's probably a good idea to do it then. So I'm thinking maybe next week before we start getting very into things. So hi Pooh, hi Vagabond, how you doing? So good to see you. Welcome back to stream. It's been ages, hasn't it? You're gonna have to tell me what you've been doing. How is the game dev going on your end, folks? Vagabond and the whole crew. As for me, absolutely just swamped and caught up in the house move that's happened, but it's all over with now. Well, kind of. Still happening. The jobs are honestly going to carry on until the end of the year, maybe into next spring. So it's not going to stop anytime soon. But I'm at a point where I can at least stream now. So we're getting back into it slowly but surely. Oh man, life has been good. Yeah, tell us everything. How's the games? How is the Running Man game, I must say? How is that one getting on? I was very curious about that one when you were doing the Steam page for it. And another thing that could go in the miscellaneous section, new lore Bible articles. We do have that listed here. I have said do some profiles for the characters we haven't done yet in some locations, but I also want to do some lore Bible entries for the world building that we spent the last few weeks doing before the stream break. Because there's so much we did together, folks. I mean, it's so easy to think, oh my goodness, the development's halted, nothing's being done, but that's not true at all, because honestly, when we was doing this world building, so many cool things were sort of set in stone about this world and the characters. That's really exciting. Especially the one that I really enjoyed was the chat about the government. It's way down here. And the whole being an artist and the ideas we had for the end of characters' story arcs with Nigel in painting and Violet and all that, and it was all very cute and wholesome and really fun. So there was some really cool creative ideas that we all had chat. And I'm really looking forward to reading through it all again to remind us what it all is, and making some lore Bible articles on them. So I'm going to just, there we go, lore exclamation mark. So folks, if you haven't seen our lore Bible yet, you can click on it. It's World Anvil, the tool we use for that, and we're going to be adding more articles on there soon, so we can get all the world building we've done together like public, so people can read it all easier. And Vagabond said shipped Always Sometimes Monsters, that is, on Switch. Release new game The Stonks Market. Done a 24 game jam stream and made a new stream playtest, and then did an RPG Maker 2003 game jam and released a nostalgic thing on it. Oh my goodness. Running Man has had a version 2 released today on his last day. You all can try it on free on Steam playtest ends tomorrow. Oh my god, Vagabond, you are like an inspiration, because how long this is the last time we spoke? It's only been like a couple of months, right? last time I streamed was April. So you've done all that in this short space of time. You are a veteran. That much is clear, because I could only dream to get things out at that speed. Also, GG on the Switch release. That really is awesome. That's like really cool to have done that with that game. For sure. Life goals or what? Can't stop, won't stop. The trick is make nothing good. Yeah. See, that's really cool. And I can see the logic in that for sure. It makes complete sense, because well, it's not so much make nothing good. It's like, you know, quick games, things that you can get done a little bit easier. I know that you started with Sometimes Always Monsters, didn't you, which was a much longer project for you, a bit like me with Raindrop Chronicles, going into it the deep end, we could call it, where you're doing an ambitious thing straight off the bat first time. Which to me, like, everybody's different, but for me, doing something epic is what gives me motivation. I think I will admit it, if I was doing a smaller project, I don't know if I'd be as passionate as I am with creating an epic world. So everybody's different, because for sure I understand completely those that want to start small. But yeah, there's something about doing something epic that just creates excitement. It's almost like if you're a writer and you write a fantasy series of novels, or you're a musician and you're releasing like an album or something, like, there's something really like awesome about doing something big, even though it's a challenge. And you can throw out trash all day real fast. Yeah, well, we'll see, won't we? For all we know, Running Man, that game you made in 24 hours was it? It might be the next viral hit. We'll see, won't we? Alright, so what else have we got? Oh yes, another important thing. I nearly forgot this one. This is art. Give a glow up to all the barrel characters, because recently, shortly before the stream break, we gave Carol the Barrel a glow up, didn't we, folks? How she looks on the Lore Bible and on this Trello page right now, she has had a bit of a overall. We can't really zoom in super closely. I think we might be able to, but the quality will be a bit iffy. But we changed her facial features, because we made her look more HD. There's more detail in the eyes now, more expression. And the purpose of that was so that we can get more expressions out of face and just take the sprite further than we could take this one. So obviously we're going to have to do the other barrels, because we want them to match with Carol's new version, otherwise it's going to look very odd. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing HD Meryl and HD Avia and HD Hank. Woody and Oliver's absolutely fine how he is, because he's a child and he's got that just cute face. Woody, to me, he already was sort of like had more detailed eyes than the barrels anyway. They're a bit larger, but we could always stretch them out by an extra pixel or so if we need to make him match more. But I don't think there's much changing of Woody that needs doing, but definitely the barrels. Make HD new better version of barrels character sprites. Will just be a bit more. So that'll be fun. Completely nearly slipped my mind that we had to do that. We'd have had the old barrels sprites on the new screenshot when we submit the Steam page, because we're going to be submitting our coming soon Steam page shortly, Vagabond and the rest of those of you that are hanging out at the moment. It's my birthday at the end of the month, so I'm kind of wanting to time it for then. I think that would be a really cool celebration, but I'm not going to get too upset if it's not ready by then, or if they haven't approved it by then, because we're so close now. I did actually get the page ready months ago. It's all there. Half the things are filled in already. There's just a couple more things to add. The screenshots and trailer, which are already there, but I want the new updated versions on there, because what's currently on the website and currently on the Steam page, non-submitted form, is the old screenshots, and there's gonna be some updated ones, that's for sure. So once those screenshots are ready, and once maybe I've done a new trailer, then the time will come for the Steam page submission, which it's my birthday's still a few weeks away, so I think it's doable to get those screenshots at a good stage by then. So make sure screenshots look awesome for Steam page, for coming soon Steam page launch. Just say HD. Why is it being silly there? Okay. So Carol's already done. It's just Meryl, Woody, blah 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 blah. I'm hungry. I think streaming makes me hungry. Because I'm always hungry, and I had lunch before I went live. Look at all the raindrops. Oh my god, Vagabond. You're eligible to make a character if you wish. I just submitted my, just as I said that, you mentioned that, I just submitted my NPC for Raindrop. Please enjoy the stinky old bag of Vagabond. That's fantastic, Vagabond. So because you've done that, I am going to add you to the list of community member character profiles to do on our Trello page. So it was just met, but now we've got Vagabond as well. Fantastic, folks. And as I said a bit earlier, if you haven't met the 1,000 raindrop requirement, I advise you to do it soon, because they will be getting a change. The forms will. They'll be turned into something a little bit more vague. So to encourage the creation of more open-ended characters, so that we've got the freedom to fit them around the lore. But of course I still want to allow the freedom of you guys creating someone really unique and cool as well. So I know that Matt's character seems really cool, so I'm looking forward to getting that done. So I'm gonna say Vagabond dog as well. Create Mets and Vagabond Dogs characters. There we go. So, other things to do in the coming streams. I'm very excited to read the Fallen Vagabond, and you'll finally have a cool character walking across the stream as well. Alright, so the other stuff really that has to be done, let's just get the headlines in first, is obviously characters and world building. And there's still other stuff like scene work and battle mechanics and UI and all that, but UI, I'm going to completely just not think about any UI. In fact, for the first playable build, the UI will just be left as the default RPG Maker, right? So I'm not like thinking to, because otherwise if there's too many tasks, the first playable build won't be released till this time next year. But I can see it being something that I slowly improve and start putting together throughout the alpha builds as we go through them. The battle system though, I do hope to at least have a very basic version of it up and running for the first playable build. It's not going to be anything super fancy or perfectly balanced though, because I'd say obviously you guys, those of you that test, when it comes out, your job will be helping me balance it. So I'm not going to get too like caught up in the balancing. That can be something we do together when we release the pre-alpha. And again, the battle system will be something that's slowly improved over the course of the alpha builds. But the battle system stuff, because we got it here, it's on the way to work on. I want all the scene work to be 100% done for main quest 1 and 2 here before we even start getting that battle system, so because otherwise I'll be too split between the scenes and the battle stuff, and I'll be like, So get one bit done first, and obviously only main quest 1 and 2 because that's all that's going to be in the first build. As for main quest 3 onwards, we'll think about those things once this is already out. So yes, once they're done, that'll be when we move on to that. And then honestly, I see the battle system as really the last task of the first playable build job, because like I said, things like the menus I'm not going to make them too fancy, because menu work, UI, I know I could get very ambitious about that and spend months on it. Next week I might have my nephew over. I'll see if I can catch a stream while he's around. Oh, that sounds cool. Yeah, well, if you do pop in, you'll get to see your character, won't you? And I mean, if you are here, that's easier for sure, because you can give us like, if you can say, oh yeah, that Lila character looks cool. But if not, you can always just have your fingers crossed that I do a decent job of him. But you'll see him, whether it's while we're doing him or when he's already done. Alright, so what next? We did say create new episode 1 characters. Well, create more episode 1 characters. Say NPCs. So they're the people that are going to populate Lakefall. And the people, perhaps the reptiles in the cave, but we won't think too much about the reptiles in the cave yet. Maybe Lakefall first, but we'll say, because I want us to do this first, so we can shape the NPCs around the arc that we've wrote, so that they're really cool and link thematically with the story structure, plot points we've got, and all that. And I want to, this is something they won't be seen in the game until here, like the second playable build. Oh, here it is, that's the second playable build. But I do want us to write them before they enter the game so that we've already planned them, so we already know who they are well in advance. So that's something we could do anytime, whenever the time comes. But yeah, we'd probably work on story stuff first. So because of that, maybe I'll put that first. Characters. Also, we were writing up the character arcs for Violet, Nigel, Fiona and Carol, weren't we? And they were really cool streams because we came up with some really good ideas. How to raise the stakes with those characters, and what their misbelief was, and what the story outcomes could be with them potentially, and that was really fun as well. And I want to make sure that we hit everything on their character arcs for the other main quests. So that is main quest 3, 4, 5 and 6. We've already done 1 and 2. And for Carol, like in main quest 1 and 2 so far, we know that she doesn't like humans. She is looking for a family who she was separated from. And she is the role of the inventory for the hero, because she feels like the hero is protecting her from, because they're holding the hero's inventory. They're not going to want their inventory harmed, so they'll make sure she doesn't get smashed or hurt by any non-barrel kind along the way. So yes, Carol forced herself into the hero's presence very cleverly. And yeah, that's all we know about, like, that's all that's been established with Carol in main quest 1 and 2, although we have had some plot driven stuff happening in regards to Violet doing a painting of somebody that could help tell them where the family are, the barrels. So there's lots of cool stuff that's ahead, and we've been introduced to a reptile, the first hint of that race in the game at the end of main quest 2. But as for what's going to happen in main quest 3, 4, 5 and 6, it's like a big blank at the moment. We have some ideas of what the conclusion of the episode is, how it is going to end, the choice that the player will have to make in the finale of the episode, the big choice. But there's a lot of blanks in between that will be filled out, and I want to make sure that with all these quests there's no filler. Every part has a purpose, every scene has a purpose, and hits on the character's character arc plot points that strengthen their character and make you feel more connected to them along the journey. So it's all going to be about getting it super exciting, loads of cool things happening that have sort of a connection. We're gonna care about the characters. It's all about the characters, really. This journey is. I mean, the story matters too, but the characters are at the heart of that story. Hi Van, how are you doing? Oh my goodness, how are you doing? Didn't realise you were on. Thank you so much for the sub. 12 months. Oh my goodness, a year. So for a year, let's get some hype for that, everybody. I'm gonna get the hype myself. How have you been, Van? What have you been up to while I've been on? How does it seem like a long time? Because for me, it seems like forever, because that's probably because a lot's happened in my life. A lot's been going on, and so I don't know how it's been for you guys. But it's so cool that you're here, folks, because when it's been a while, you worry that you're going to lose that momentum coming back to streams. So it's just so cool to see you all hanging out with me and joining me again. and just working along. Yes, it seems like a long time. I remember stumbling on your stream and thinking barrels. Yes, barrels. I honestly think the barrels are what made Raindrop Chronicles interesting to people. Let's face it, if it was just normal humans, it wouldn't quite grip you the same, would it? So all that we've been doing, Van, and anyone else who's just popping in, it's been a catch-up stream really today. It's been talking about getting back into things after a long break and what's to come, what's next on the agenda. Feel free to watch the VOD, anyone, if you're curious on what's being said, because I can't remember. We've talked so much that I can't remember every little thing that's been said. But yes, we're sort of just making a quick list at the moment of what's coming up. Vagabond Dog just submitted their character, and we already have Mets as well to make, so that's 2 more characters that are on the cards to get a profile for, as well as some new Lore Bible articles I want to do, which is literally all the stuff we did the world building of before the break. And then we'll be having a few more world building streams sprinkled in throughout the summer, with a bit of story and character stuff in between, because it's going to be, I did say that 2021 is going to be the year of the main quest, and like sort of getting that skeleton, the episode 1 main quest specifically, by the way, folks, because I mean it's definitely a thing that on this we're having a skeleton of the series as a whole. Vaguely, we're going to have those plot points, sort of any major ones placed down if we feel like something's got to happen in episode 3 or something's got to happen in episode 6 or 5 or whatever, even if it's very vague at the moment. But specifically, it's going to be about episode 1 and what's going to be happening then, and of course, that might involve vaguely thinking ahead from time to time, with Carol's character arc, for example. I'll just mention this now, and in fact, I'm going to write this here. Actually, we'll put it under characters. So, Carol's story outline. And so, what did I miss this morning? Oh my, yes, just loads of rambles. So, because I've got to catch up myself, you see, and refresh myself with what we've been talking about. And so, just been a bit of a rambly stream, really. But next stream, Thursday, this Thursday, stream 250, folks. I have teased a bit of something that's going to be shown. It's not the Steam page. That's going to be coming soon. End of June, question mark. My birthday's at the end of June, so I'm kind of wanting it to be a birthday thing for me, that launch, but we'll see, because Steam might not approve it yet, for all I know. It's out of my control. But I'm definitely going to try and submit it ahead of my birthday date, so there's every chance it could get approved. But yes, there's going to be something that's shown. It might be a big deal to some of you, it might not be a big deal to others, but I think it's going to be something that will benefit the game for sure. Just something a little bit cool that I've been working on, that is relevant to this. Yes, I'll give you a clue there, folks. Okay, so Carol's story outline, as I was saying, right, so Carol is the protagonist, okay? It's not the hero, funnily enough. Well, the hero is the protagonist, but because the hero is a blank slate, they're more of an observer in this adventure than a pre-written character arc, right? Because of the directions everybody playing the game can potentially take this character. I mean, to a degree, the variables aren't wild with them. They're human. So, We know that. And the fact that they're human limits them somewhat to a character arc potentially, because we know being human in this game is different. So there is the potential there for sure with the hero protagonist for them to have their own story throughout all this. But I'd say at this stage, in episode 1, it's very, 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 very much outside at the moment. It's not directly happening. We're not in the thick of it yet. Any revelations about the hero is endgame really, or subtly going to be something we discover and learn over the course of the entire saga. But episode 1 as a single thing, Carol's the focus really. She is the main character, and although we're going to have very key secondary characters as well, like people like Nigel, Fiona, Violet, and other NPCs and playable characters we meet in Roots and Rumours will still have their own story outlines and character arcs that will be happening as well. But Carol's the key one because she's the one who's accompanying us on this journey. She's travelling with us, so she's consistently with us. She's also the most intriguing character because she's a non-human, someone who shouldn't actually be living in the world, and there's so much potential internal conflict going on and character change and growth with her that she's just the best one to sort of base the whole overarching story on, because the characters are really I've been doing a lot of reading about this sort of thing, and the characters are sort of what you base your story outline on in a way, not the actual plot. The plot obviously exists and the story is there, but without the characters it doesn't matter. What matters in the story doesn't matter without the characters who are there. It would just be a meaningless sequence of events without the people we care about on the journey. So Carol's story outline is something to look at. We know, I sort of vaguely mentioned that yes, we know a few things of what's happened to her so far. We found out that she has got a desire, or more a goal. She's got a goal to find a family. So there's something she's been wanting to do for a while, even before the game begun, because she got separated from them. And we're finding out she's got fears. She doesn't like non-barrel kind. So there's definitely this, we're learning about her, and things are going to have to happen to Carol. Stakes are going to have to be raised throughout episode 1. She's going to have to be faced with dilemmas and decisions herself. It's not just about the hero who's faced with the decisions and choice in the game. Even the other characters are going to have their own decisions as well. And obviously the player isn't deciding them, but it'll be where the story gets taken. So Carol's going to have a story outline, and I'd say Carol's story outline is really the actual story outline, really. Even in the playthrough when she abandons us, yes, that's correct, Carol will potentially, spoiler alert everyone, well it's not a spoiler because we all talked about it several streams back, if you're an evil hero, Carol might desert you, which is great. It's going to be fun, and of course if that happens, that means that Carol, you'll be without her. She won't exist in the story anymore, and at that point I'd say you as the hero take over as the protagonist. The story outline follows, and Carol, she's not necessarily going to be with us consistently throughout the whole thing, and that's an example of what. But it's going to be cool. So, but we'll do a proper story skeleton one day, even just a vague one, and I might have to blank out some parts like this if I do this, can you guys see that? Even if you screenshot it in Paint, would you be able to change the contrast so you can see what's under here? Because what I was thinking of doing at some point is having a story like sort of skeleton stream, but like anything that's a spoiler that I don't want to reveal, that I do that too and highlight it in dark so nobody can read it. But anything that can be read, I'll leave obviously like that. So, and other character story outline. So I'm just putting brackets Violet, Nigel, Fiona, etc. So I'll put other episode 1 character story on. So we this isn't like completely new. We spent a few streams at the start of the year writing up the character outlines for these characters, and we were starting to form a potential story outline, character arc for each of them, and things that could happen to each of them throughout episode 1. So I think going that sort of direction, like reviewing that, will help us form this episode 1 main quest. What else is going to happen as well, that's to come, because we had like a bullet point of what could happen and a list of things that could happen along the way, and that could help inspire some of these plot points and events that we can fill in. So good. Okay, okay, so I think the only thing now, it's just world building really. So I'm also going to just get a headline here. I'm going to call it Battle System, and I'm going to write will start on this once every main quest 1+2 scene is done. And yes, we've completely not looked at the battle system for a very long time, folks, because there will be a rehaul. We're not going to be using the default RPG make one anymore. We're going to use we're going to make use of the map so that we can add new fancy tall sprites, or we'll make the most of them on there, and it's going to be far more, well, it's going to be more modern, the battle system, more appealing to the masses. Yes, I've become a sellout. But I'm not going to be very brief on this one because I don't want to get into battle system till this is completely done. But it will be on the cards for some time in the summer to be working on, because it's something that's got to be done before the first playable build comes out, or at least a very basic version of the battle system by then anyway. There's basically something, a plugin, should I say, that exists in RPG Maker, MV and MZ. Someone that works full time on this plugin, and they have a Patreon. They get a lot of money on this Patreon from the community. There's a big interest in it. It's very, very popular. And it's a battle system. And it looks very cool. And it looks to be doing the things I need it to. So we'll be looking into that. We'll be implementing that. Making it cool. We're not going to make it like 100% done or anything like that for the first playable build. I just want a very basic version of it working for the first playable build, so that there's enough for you guys to have a play around, test it, balance some stuff, to get a more improved version for this, and then that, and then that. And we'll just continuously keep improving and balancing it throughout the releases. So that, we're not even going to look at that now, that can hide, because this needs doing first. The scene job is huge. Working on scenes is massive. There's so much nitty gritty stuff to do, the sound effects, the music, the dialogue, the animations, making it really entertaining, everything that happens. It's probably one of the hardest jobs, especially because I'm getting very ambitious with it. So because of that, I don't want to have any other jobs I'm doing at the same time as that, so I'll wait for that to be done before we get into that. Hi Diva, what a plug-in, and what was I do spy through yonder Twitch screen. How are you doing, Dave? It's so good to see you. Welcome back to the stream. How have you been the last several weeks? And as Van, what I'll do, because you're on my list on the Discord, I'll send that over to you in a message later, because I don't want to publicly announce the plugin just yet for the battle system, because I'll wait, but I'll send you over a link. So I know you're interested in RPG Maker yourself, so but it's a good one. I'm not sure how many Patreons the person has, but like what they're earning is like enough to give them a part-time income, and I think they work on this plugin quite a lot. So that's very encouraging, because you want to, when taking on something like this, you want to make sure there's a lot of support and in it, and that makes me confident that it's the right direction to go, because it looked pretty fancy too. Be able to pull off summoning in battles and things like that as well. Hi, how have you been? I've been very busy, very, very busy and tired and busy. Oh no, good busy though, because I think there's a bad busy and a good busy, isn't there? But it's good to see you. It's so awesome. I've had a really nice stream, everybody. It was a bit of a late start because the lighting today was really bad. I tested it last night and the lights were great, but because it's daylight today and there's more light coming in the room, even with the curtains shut, the green screen was there, and I was like, oh no. So I had to change the position of my lights, the webcam settings, and I finally got rid of my green screen. And I was half hour late because of messing with that. Mood, work busy, so bit of a column A, bit of a column B, yes. So, and I'm the same, like this is probably the busiest I've been since starting Raindrop Chronicles. And it's definitely difficult, like it's been difficult to consistently work on the game, like the stuff. So I've been doing something therapeutic that I find therapeutic in these weeks since the move. It's related to Raindrop Chronicles, and I'm going to show it to you on Thursday, everybody, for the 250th stream celebration. I'm trying to not like reveal what it is because I want it to be a surprise, but I have given some little hints on what it could be throughout this stream today, so some of you might have guessed, who knows. It's not the Steam page and it's not the first Playable build, that's 2 clues on what it isn't, but it's something related to Raindrop Chronicles that's worthy of showing. I'm not going to show it off on Twitter yet though, or social media, because it's not quite ready. It's not really at a state of showing off to the world just yet, but it's at a state to show to you guys, like, but you'll say. It's something I think is going to help the project, but I can't really talk too much about why it's going to help the project without revealing what it is. Hi Karen, great to catch you again. I really hope you're doing well. How you doing, Karen? It's been forever. How have you been? How's life? I hope you're doing good. How are things? But yes, I've been talking about it in important news, everyone. I've given a few little hints here and there. So that thing I've been doing has been what's taken up 80% of my time with the game in the last several weeks. That's took the bulk of my time up, this thing. And the other 20% I'd say has been general, watching YouTube videos, reading books on story structure and all that fun thing, because I'm really really passionate and fascinated into the science behind storytelling and what sort of makes people fall in love with stories and all that kind of thing. So okay, we'll fill in this world building thing now. I have an idea of what it might be. Dave has an idea. Yes, and I'll give you one little tiny clue. The thing that it is on here somewhere. Well, it's kind of hidden somewhere on this list. I kind of already said which one bullet point it was about half an hour ago, I think, but I didn't entirely spell it out, but I was like, oh yeah, it's that one. I've been working on that bit off stream. So but I'm going to talk more about it on Thursday for sure, because it's definitely going to be, when I've finally shown it, I'll be able to say without revealing what it is then. It's been way too long, doing pretty well, thanks. Finished my masters, my house caught fire, and now I'm working big pharmaceutical company, so definitely a roller coaster. Oh my goodness. I see the cameras being a bit weird again, but just ignore it, guys. Doesn't help that I'm wearing a top that blends in with my green screen today either. But oh my goodness, congrats on finishing the masters cone. The really good news with the house fire, which is the terrible news thrown in there. So what the hell? I hope that the house is okay. My goodness me. But GG on the other things, that's huge. Big congrats. And it's good to see you, Karen. Guys are awesome, thank you for having me today. But I'm very excited overall. I mean, it's been very disruptive, and that's frustrating because I want to be able to just do more of this, but I try not to. I've kind of accepted that life can hold you up sometimes, and then your dreams have to get put to the sides for a short period of time now and again because of life. I mean, Karen probably might know, because I'm sure a house fire would have done that, just as a house move has for me. But thinking of what's to come, like in the coming months, with like the Steam page, for example, and the thing that I've been working on, things like that excite me, because it makes me, the game is just coming on, like what it is now in my mind compared to what it was on stream 1 is massive. The evolution of this, because the project was like literally just, I wouldn't say nothing back then. It was great, but there was no like real plan to make it into my sort of huge life project thing back then. It was just a bit of fun really, and it was just free. It was going to be a free game. Nothing that was going to be polished or spectacular or groundbreaking or anything overly ambitious to testing my skills or anything like that. It was going to be crappy. It was going to just be a crappy game. But then I just was like, these barrels, they're just too cool. They're too cool to be crappy. And I just started to slowly get more... this is I'm gonna make this an actual game. And thank you. I hope the house move went well. I absolutely know the stress of a big move. Good work on getting through it. Yes, the hard part is done because I'm finally in the house. I'm finally got my computer set up. The main jobs have been done. It's not 100% finished yet. There's still going to be DIY and workmen coming in forever. I don't even know when that's going to end, but it's hopefully not going to interfere with my streams. I've like said to my family, can they not come in on a Tuesday or Thursday, please? And they understand, they're very supportive of what I do. So they'll try. So hopefully we won't get any more disruptions, we'll see. It's nice to see you back after your long break. Oh my God, David, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Thank you so much. Let's have some hype in chat. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Dava. It's very fun. I'm feeling very hyped because there's just lots of fun stuff to come. Yay! Okay, so I'm also very nervous about Thursday's stream as well, because what I'm going to be showing, it's a big deal to me. I'm trying to not get all what's the word? I'm trying to see that as a journey as well in itself. And of course I can't say much because I'll end up revealing what it is, but it's like a step at a time sort of thing. I can't say anything. Yay, thank you for the hype. Appreciate it. Okay, so is there any more I should put in here? World building, we haven't filled in this bit yet. So, right, now, because we're on the... I think what we've got here is everything. In fact, let's add another bullet point. We're just making some subheadings, folks, of all the sides of game dev and the bullet pointing things that need working on. And I'm going to just put for this, not to be done until version, is that what the version's called? Onwards. Because I don't want to like do too much, because we won't have any playable build out for at least 12 months if I was going to be making sure all the menus were like perfection and everything. So a little rough around the edges, a little bit default looking it might look in the first playable build. The mini maps might be done now. The mini maps will probably be done, but that was something I did right at the start. So I think I've hit everything I need to, right? Oh yeah, quest markers and UI. Quest icons, markers, hang on. We could always say menus not to be done. So I don't mind doing things like the little things, like little UI indicators on the mini maps of like where a quest is, because that will need that for main quest 1 and 2, things like that, quest destinations and things like that are things you can turn on and off in the options menu. Some of you won't want to see quest markers because I know not everybody loves them, but quality of life is a good thing in my opinion for people who do value things like that. So they will be there, but that you can also turn them off as well. And the mini maps you can turn them. Some people will want to play it blind, but other people will. I'm a quest marker person personally. What about you guys? I believe this community is a 50-50 split. Some of you adore mini maps and markers and that, and others hate them. So there we go. So I think we've hit on all the things we need, and just world building now. Right, oh my goodness, I need to remind myself on what we did. Okay. I'm ambivalent with Questmarkers in a top-down 2D game. I find mini-maps a bit redundant personally. Yeah, so that's true because it generally is. Well, I agree. With 3D games, I get lost all the time. And I wouldn't be able to play it without minimap. But 2D ones, it's a little bit easier for sure. So I can see a point, Dover. Okay, so the conflict between humans and reptiles. We're going to get that one listed here. Develop the human and reptile conflict further. That's an essential world building task for us to do because it links with the second half of the main quest of episode 1 quite considerably. So that's going to be a task to do on streams for sure. And there's all these little things here as well that if we get in the mood we could talk about. When it's 4D, your perspective can constantly shift. Having a frame of reference to anchor my understanding of the space helps. Yeah, I think you can't go wrong, can you, with having an options menu where you can turn things on and off to your liking, because then the player gets to make it comfortable for them and what works for them. I don't think it would be a good idea for me to force mini maps, for example, like just because they're my preference doesn't mean they're everybody's. So it's good to have accessibility and allow that on and off option, because it could be a deal breaker for some. It can put them off if it's there or if it isn't there. And luckily it's pretty easy to turn it off as well. There's just a plugin in RPG Maker that allows you to assign it to a variable, what makes the map appear, and you can just turn it off. Pretty okay. Okay, so right, is there any other world building things? The last stream we did, we were talking about the government and rulers of the past and present, weren't we? And I know that we didn't quite finish. It was like in the middle of that discussion and the stream had to end, and we didn't finish what we was talking about. So we'll make sure that we obviously do finish that off. But I think we've sort of filled in all the main things here that we have to come up with. So I think now's the time to remind ourselves, have a bit of a catch up and refresher on what this world building was that we set in stone before the break. And I'm just going to get the World Anvil Lore Bible up as well, because one thing I thought we could do today is do some Lore Bible articles. I don't know if we'll have time now, but we could always make a start and have a little chat about that. So anyone that wants to have a look as we do it, there you go. Silly green screen. I'm just going to ignore it, guys. I'll get it right for the next stream. Met says, I'd say highlight markers make more sense in games when you're expected to keep track of specific places you need to go to, and less when in games where you're expected to explore and just deal with whatever you run into. Yeah, I think, because looking at what Met says, whether the game's linear or open world can make a difference too, and that is, to me, whether if it's 2D or 3D, doesn't necessarily matter. But if something is generally more open world, it's easier to get lost and not know the next step. Some people like that because they feel thrown into a world ready to explore, don't they? but others, some people like a direction to follow. And Raindrop Chronicles it's not linear in regards to a Final Fantasy game, because there's choices and branching paths. And although I'd say it is linear because there is a main quest story to follow, I am intending it to have, you can veer off track if you wish and do side quests and explore alongside that main quest. A bit like how The Witcher 3 does it, where you can go off and do a hunt or go off and do a side quest in a random spot in between the main quests. But of course, so games of Raindrop Chronicles natures can't entirely be open world because they're not made to be, but you can sort of give the illusion in a smart way to a certain extent by not making it overly linear and railroading heaven or anything. Railroading isn't heaven though always, but because some games can be linear but very railroady, where it's so obviously a corridor you're walking along, but others are linear but hide it quite well. So sometimes just good game design can help there. Alright, so let's remind ourselves. Okay, so when we first did world building, we did the calendar, didn't we, folks? We thought of the names of the months. And we also did think of the names of the days, didn't we? We have a calendar here. Let me find it. Calendar. Yeah, we did make this page in the Law Bible, the calendar, although it's not filled in yet, but that's something we could do at some point when the time's right. And the days are here. We got question marks so far, but we went on to do our Pantheon. I need to get that Google sheet up because I haven't got it tabbed open yet. But the Pantheon, the name of each of the legends, will be what the days are named after. So that's cool. Thinking of names is always fun, and that goes on for me to add this. Vote for the names of the 2 countries of the world. Because we talked a bit about it, I think it was the very last stream we had, when we talked about the government, the world map, the very rough world map that we made. It's 2 countries basically. If we get this up, the continent's split in half with how relay. There's the west and the east, and we tend to just call it the west side and the east side at the moment, but there's 2 cities, you see. If we don't count the Cloud City, we have 2 cities. The capital, where Trattoria and King Dolus are based, the place literally just outside of the farmlands, and then we have a very big bustling urban city on this far coast. So that could be the capital of the other country, and the country on this side, the west, is far more gritty and harsher way of life and less controlled by government than the country on the east. The country on the east is definitely more medieval inspired and is its own kingdom control, with Trattoria and the king in the capital ruling over those regions and areas. which includes Lightfall, the farmlands, the snowlands to the north, the swamp, the beach, and have I named all those places? Yeah, all those little areas there that are here. I don't think you can see my cursor, can you? And then to the west we have the Badlands, the desert, the Sahara, the jungle, the wastelands, the urban city, and some of definitely the places that are rougher and harsher and more gritty. So there's definitely two different places, and I think it would be cool to think of an actual country name for each, rather than just call them East Side and West Side forever. Something a bit more inspiring and memorable and appropriate. We haven't even got a name for the actual world yet, funnily enough. We did have some suggestions though, but maybe not enough for a poll just yet. But that's something to keep in mind. You mean like Final Fantasy 13, where you literally run up corridors for exactly? That's what an example of very linear. And player almost feels then that the game's an entire corridor. So it's, whereas other games like Final Fantasy 7 Classic, for example, and Final Fantasy 8, some of those golden era Final Fantasy games, they're linear too, but they're less obviously linear. You don't feel like you're walking up a corridor quite as much. You're free to explore and go walk around and do things and do side things, but more end game. I feel like Final Fantasy games open up a bit more towards end game, don't they? Even Final Fantasy 13 did by the end a little bit, when you could walk around that massive stretch of land. And Twitch keep playing the same ad each time. I have internet hiccup. Oh no, how dare they? Let's try and watch the stream. That's silly. I think ads have gone worse, haven't they, in the last year or so on Twitch? I don't know how it is now. Okay, so yeah, we'll keep that there for now, because I think it'd be cool to think of names for those two countries at some point. It's not like emergency, but I think it'll be a cool thing to do. And I haven't got, no, that's muted, cool. Oh yes, and we did the timeline. That was really cool. So we have a timeline of the whole of history now, with the different ages. And this really helped us flesh out the existing races of the world, like the Drow, the Walker, the Kitka, who we renamed. They used to be called reptiles, feline and canine, that the races did, but we decided to give them a bit more fantasy unique names that felt a bit more exclusive to Raindrop Chronicles, and a bit less common sounding. So they're feeling a bit more fleshed out now, these races are, because we've sort of mapped out their history when they sort of came to be, and it started to help us come up with some potential ideas of stories that happened in the past, events, and there were some really good ones. Go away, green screen. There we go, that's a bit better. I'm not going to wear a blue top next time, because it makes it harder when you've got, this is pretty close to the green screen colour. Maybe the East could be named after the elves, and the West after the Pixies and Dragons, since they're the oldest races, and the elf monuments are the East, while the Drow Pitsy ones are the West. Yeah, I think it's going to be smart to make the names, you know, have some relevance to this, to what this lore that we've been making is. We don't want it to be too random. Because I'm definitely a fan of having reason for why something is the way it is. So we'll definitely keep that in mind. Hi Arthur, how you doing? Welcome. Hi Rose. Hi Rav, how you doing? So good to see you. Welcome back to the stream. I apologise about the bit of green screen going on in the background, guys. Obviously, because I moved house. I've got to experiment with the lighting a little bit. Get it just right and stuff. So it's gonna... yeah, a little bit rough around the edges today. Yes, I don't know if you caught what I said. The ad was probably on when I spoke, but yeah, there's a VOD. The VOD will be up forever. It's a pain in the butt. I know. I wish I could turn the ads off for you all. Okay. Right. So yes. And we got a page for this as well. I almost forgot that. We do actually have a timeline on the Lore Bible of all the ages. So it is thoroughly written up, folks. There's descriptions of it all as well. And when the Tree of Lightfall was planted as well. When the monarchy, when the government happened, we got very thorough about that. Then we're coming into the present day here. With the Barrel's lifetimes. So all that was done. Managed to catch what you said, yay! But yeah, anyone who's just coming in, we're having a catch-up stream today because this is the first stream back since I moved house. So we're sort of reminding ourselves where we left off with the world building today. And we're slowly going to get back into things. Okay, now this is where things started to get fun. We started to talk about specific systems in the world. Magic was a big one. We decided the backstory of magic, what it is actually like in this world, because magic is different in every fantasy story, the mechanics behind it and how it came to be, and it was all about working out, well, how does it work in Raindrop Chronicles and how does it best fit with what we're building here. So yes, we need to make an article for this one for sure. So because we've got one for this, we've got one for the calendar. So I'm going to make a mental note of the articles that need doing, because this way you guys can read up on this anytime you want. Because I believe this doc is private, or did I share it on the Discord? Can't remember. So let's read this out then. So this magic system connects very much with this history of time. Magic was very strong. To summarise it, magic was the whole world at one point. It all started with magic. So slowly, as time goes on, very slowly, over tens of thousands of years, this magic starts to lessen as we go from firsts to fourths. We're sort of on the fifths now. I guess you could say that the barrel kind and not, sentient object kind, should I say, are the fifths. Not officially, but you could kind of see it like that. And yes, humans are less adept in magic than others. Oh my goodness, the green screen's going wild now. Yes, they're less adept in magic than others, so there's interesting things there. We have characters like Mordecai, who's a human sorcerer, for example. So is that a plot hole? No, it isn't, because you can think outside the box. Mordecai, for example, is a fraud. So he's not really a magical user, as he says. So that it's nicely worked around that. Raido, his character is an elemental blade master, but it works great because he uses non-conventional methods with his magic. He doesn't actually use it from his core because he doesn't have a natural ability with magic. So he's had to go he's really thought outside the box and been innovative with how he can use the elements. So things like this is working great with our characters. But yeah, I'd say because humans aren't adept in magic, they will be they will succeed in other ways. I suppose throughout their time in the world, they have had to think outside the box and be innovative and think how to succeed in other ways. And we do know that humans currently rule the capital city on the eastern side of the world, because the current king is brilliant at art, which is super wholesome in my opinion. I really enjoyed that stream in particular, so we can go down to there now to remind ourselves. We had a little brief talk about technology and just writ a few things for each of these, how it could work, but we didn't get super into depth. Okay, so here it is. This was the very last streams we had now. We talked about the government. We really decided what kind of government it was and how it all works, how someone's elected and things. And that's really useful, because it was a big blank slate before that we didn't have a clue, but now we know. And then we started talking about the rulers, not just in the present like Traitorio, but the ones of the past as well. And we started thinking of how those empires could have been back then, and the effect it had on society, and how they were powerful and how they fell and things like that. Okay. Oh my goodness, it's 6 p.m. Wow. I suppose I did start a bit late, so okay. But anyone popping in, everybody? Got a bit of lighting issues at the moment, so just try and excuse them today, because I did spend about half hour trying to fix it, but it's not exactly helped too much right now. But I'll have a mess around before Thursday stream and try and get it right. Because I'm using a completely new room now. The lighting in this room is very different to how it was in my old room, in the old house I lived in. So it needs a complete change. Okay, so the government, yes, we have a human king in the present day. We also have a human prime minister. So despite them lacking in magic, which the elves and fae have in abundance, elves and fae of the first and second generations would have had way more than modern day fae, but they still have it more than humans. During the present day, the traditional monarchy has been flipped on its head. Instead of it being hereditary, people are elected from talent and skill. This is commonly known as a merit. Oh, crassy. I got it, didn't I? Because merit, being elected from talent and skill. I mean, this in itself is it's a lot nicer than how it is in real life, but it's still flawed, because just because someone is talented at something doesn't mean they're going to be a good king, right? And this is the problem of this world, because King Dolos, which we'll go on to talk about in a bit, is a very talented artist who was elected for his artistic abilities, because art is very appreciated in this world, and they actually are rich. They treated better and admired more than artists on our planet because artists are underpaid on planet Earth. So it's nice to flip that on its head and have art be actually valued in this world. And I wish there was a way for me to get it somewhat decent. Oh gosh, get it somewhat decent, but I have to just ignore it for now the best I can. Hi, Cam is freezing. By the way, did you build yourself that template for your game background? Hi, Joe, how you doing? Is the cam okay now, chat? Was it just a briefing? I didn't have any dropped frames. I think it's okay on my end. Hope it's all right for you now. And the template for your game background, what template do you mean, George? Just so I'm answering the question properly. Do you mean the stream overlay? This one here? Is this Stardew Valley music? It isn't, Arthur. It's a playlist that I've curated myself, actually, of music I'm going to be using for the game, my game. So it's none of it is owned by anybody else. It's not any game music. I've actually stopped playing copyrighted music on stream because of the Twitch issues a few months back, and I thought it'd be useful to play music that I'll be using for the game. I mean, your document, all those questions regarding to your world. Oh, you mean this world? Do you mean this Google Doc we've got up right now, Joel? Sometimes I can be like, oh no, I'm silly. I never know sometimes what you guys mean, so I have to clarify it. But if you mean this Google Doc, yeah, I did it myself. We just had it all started blank, this did, and we just all sat together and decided, we bullet pointed what we were going to talk about, and then we did it. We just started rambling about everything, and that's what we've come up with now. So as we say, people are elected from talent and skill. So at some point in time, a Walker legend, the wolf race, helped change the structure of society to this. They determined that power and status should not be something decided by birth, race or class. And since this time, the capital and smaller surrounding regions of the eastern country have followed the laws and beliefs of the Walker legends. So what you are is not decided by your birth, but what you choose. So this present day government structure is only something that's been around in recent years, because it used to be very different in history, and that's what inspired us to, I won't get too ahead of myself, but this is history here. This bit here is an empire from the past who were in power a long time ago, who caused a lot of trouble, and that person was in because of their birth. And that's what inspired the change, because it caused a war, and no, it wasn't good, and everybody would have agreed about this government change, and this is how life is now. So they think all their problems are solved. Oh no, we don't have that person who was here from birth anymore, so we're all good now. Life will be better, but it's still a flawed way of thinking, really. So looks very well done, thank you. Before going too deep on story, it uses to be a good idea to have clear your combat system. Combat system is so important. It depends, Joe, on what you prioritise in your game, Devon, you really at the heart of why you're making a game, because as a solo developer especially, it's not like you're a team. If you're a team, you've got departments that can work on different things at the same time. But if you're solo, you have to sort of prioritise, otherwise you drive yourself mad. But for me as a dev, and everybody's different here, not everybody's the same as me. For me as a dev, it's all about story and characters. That is my passion, storytelling, and something that makes people feel something. It makes you cry, makes you laugh, makes you smile. The adventure and that journey that you experience when you play the game. But other people are different. Other people play an RPG because they love systems and mechanics and combat and you know, and of course that's part of an RPG too. So I'm not saying I don't prioritise it, because I do, and I'm still gonna look forward to getting all that set up. But for me, I like to get that story done first, really. Because that's what, once that story's down and I'm like, oh yeah, this is there, that bit's sorted, all the scene work's done now, yay, we've got loads of GIFs and videos for Screenshot Saturday showing off the scene work. Once that's there, which we sort of were doing a little bit, we did the opening scene with Carol, didn't we, and we was working on the scene where she joins us, joins the hero, and that's going to continue. This month I'm going to be doing more scene work and really finishing off that main quest 1 and 2 scene stuff. Once that main quest 1 and 2 scene stuff are done, that is when the battle system is going to get done. Well, not done, because the battle system isn't going to get done overnight. It's going to be a process, but we're going to get a basic sort of version out for the first playable build. But it's all about doing one at a time. You can't do the story and scenes and the battles together. You just, unless you're a superhuman with about 10 pairs of hands and about 5 brains. So it's my goal is get main quest 1 and 2. This is our Trello page, so main quest 1 and 2, and then we're moving on to battles, because I could just do main quest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 before even touching the battle system, but I don't think that would be very smart, because that would mean we wouldn't touch the battle system till another year and a half or something like that. So I'm sort of splitting it into segments. Do the first third of the scenes for the game and then do a bit of battle system, then do the next third, then a bit more battle system, then the last third, and then more battle system. So of course when we do get the battle system implemented, it's only going to be the monsters that we're going to meet in main quest 1 and 2 that will be there, and only the playable characters that will be there in those quests as well, which are just a handful of characters at this point. Okay, where were we? Yes, so in this world you're going to be a good artist to be king. So here it is. When it is time for the next king or queen to be elected, an art competition is held to determine who it will be. The Walk Legend, yeah. So there's going to be scriptures, and Raindrop Chronicles will have its own Bible, I suppose, of little scriptures and quotes that these legends have left over the centuries. And people follow them, people believe in them, and some believe and twist the words and all that as well and make it to their benefit. But all that is, there's still a lot of fleshing out on what those words could be and what the beliefs were and things. And have you ever played Legendary Game? That game also has like a background story and how the world works in the background. I haven't played Legendary Dragoon, funnily enough, but I've heard about it off many. I had a friend at college that really rated that game. There's a big list of RPGs that I haven't yet played but want to, and time stops me from playing them, so I have been tempted to watch let's plays of them instead, so I can experience the story passively while doing something else, because it's really hard to dedicate time to gaming lately. But the games that inspire me are Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, The Witcher, Mass Effect series, Lost Odyssey, Dragon Age is another, although I haven't finished playing it yet, but it's great as well. But there's so many stories. Hi Rose, it's great to see you back, and how are you settling in the new place? Hi Forgotten, thanks for stopping by, it's so good to see you. Doing okay, Forgotten, just getting through it day by day. The work isn't over yet, but hopefully streams will be fine now. We're back on a regular schedule, so fingers crossed we don't have any interruptions on the days I'll stream. There'll be work going on in the days I don't stream though, still, for the time being. So I'm just going to try my best to just carry on through it all. And forgive the dodgy green screen. The lighting's different in this room, so it's going to take a bit of fixing to get just right. But how are you, Forgotten? How are things? Yeah, okay, so where are we? Yes. So King Dolus is an extremely skilled artist or sculptor, perhaps the world's best or most famous, who desires a simple life filled with art. And he's a poor politician. He doesn't really care about politics. Deep down, he was forced into it. Well, it's not so much that he was forced into it. I think he liked the validation he got from taking part in this competition, probably, and winning, because it made him feel good and his art's being accepted and appreciated. But when it comes down to it, and when it comes to actually doing the job of the king from that competition that he won, he isn't the best. And he's leaving the work to Traitorio because he can't really do it himself, or doesn't really have it in him to do it himself. And yeah, with the name Traitorio, he ain't obviously all that good. But funnily enough, it's probably the world that we're living in here is probably one that gives the impression of being nice on the surface and pleasant, but maybe a few people are aware that it isn't all that great deep down, and dodgy stuff is going on behind the scenes. And obviously, as we go into episode 2, this kind of thing will slowly be revealed to us throughout the story of that episode and onwards, and we'll have our revelations ourselves as we visit the capital, because that's what we'll be doing from episode 2 onwards. And it's going to link in with Carol's story and the barrels and everything as well, and we're going to make all the plot points connect as best as possible and make it really entertaining, folks. So that's going to be really fun. And although Main Quest 2 and onwards isn't going to be like completely thoroughly rigidly mapped out in the next year, because episode 1 will be, but not episode 2 onwards, we will still probably have a vague story structure somewhat starting to be built there. But episode 1 will be the one that we really want to get deep into this year in particular, like what happens in the Everbloom Forest side of the story. But it'll be cool to start of go off and start thinking, yeah, maybe that could happen here, maybe that could happen there, maybe we could link King Dollars with this and that with Carol, and making characters connect and things like that. And it'll be cool to keep it somewhat open for change or potential adjustments, just so we don't rigidly get ourselves into a corner or something. But it's going to be smart to at least have some plot points and ideas, just so that we don't get caught off guard with the story and we don't have a clue what's going to be happening down the road. Territorio is trouble indeed. It's funny because the name's great. It's ironic because some people probably adore him. I think it's more fun having it like that, having him be somewhat charismatic and people are all over him, and I just sort of think, oh, Territorio, and then others, but then with that name like that, it's obvious he's just not good at all. But not everyone will be ignorant to what he does. I'm sure there'll be some that know exactly what he is. I smell a potential for Territorio. I know, there's definitely some definite holes to fill in on what these things could be, on what exactly happens. Because what we've got here is all just the backstory and the sort of outline, but we don't know the nitty gritty or the plot points and all those things that make the quests up and yet. But it's going to be fun to do that because I don't want filler. I want every part of the story, every scene, because scene work is tough. Scene work is very time consuming, folks. So obviously this is going to be a story driven game, but every scene has to have a purpose in that it's entertaining, thought provoking, makes the plot advance, makes you more connected to the characters, makes you feel some sort of emotion. So as long as a scene does that, we're on the right track, and that means avoid filler, because if we allow for filler, it's just a waste of time, holds up development, and it's also boring. People switch off from the game and story. We want people to be gripped, where they're like, oh my god, that just happened. Wow, I need to see the next scene now. Or, oh, that scene was really funny. I want to see what happens now. Or, oh, that was really mysterious. I want to see what happens now. Like something that gets you thinking or makes your interest a bit. Like, you know, as long as it does that, we're on the right track. And if a scene's boring and we're thinking, nothing's really happening there and that's not really advancing the plot or really making us care much, if we're feeling like that, that means it doesn't necessarily mean the scene needs to be scrapped. It just means it needs to be edited and something needs to be altered in it to make us care. So I'm incredibly determined about that, because deep down I think the unique selling point for this game is going to be the story. Like I said, that's my priority and that's what I care about most. I mean, combat is obviously a key thing about an RPG, but I've always been the sort of person that I'm more interested in a great tale or adventure. That's what gets me buying a game or playing a game, over a mediocre adventure but a brilliant combat system. Like I'm not particularly into playing a mediocre story with an amazing groundbreaking combat system. I'd rather it be the other way around. I'd rather have the groundbreaking story and the mediocre combat system. Not saying that Raindrop Chronicles will be mediocre combat system. I'll still want it to be fun, don't get me wrong, but it's not like the everything for me with this game. The story is what I'm going to be ultimately putting most of my energy into, and as a solo developer it's smart to do that, because if you delude yourself into thinking you can take it all on, it's a recipe for burnout. And yes, okay, so where were we? Yes, as honourable as this present day government system is, it is flawed, because it doesn't mean you will end up the better of a job. People still abuse the system by giving their children access to the best art training, or by seeing the laws as a reason to have ruthless self-interest. So I think this is a really, it's cool that there's a few ideas there. Some of these could lead to potential plot points and things that are happening to characters' lives and story arcs. So at some point we're going to really get creative and think of ideas about stories that could come from this, and you never know, we could link something in perfectly with Carol's arc, and we already did it. We've already linked Nigel's arc, endgame arc, to this, and Violet's, because Nigel is a painter. Well, he's an aspiring painter, should I say. Nigel he paints to ease his anxieties. He's not got any wild ambitions right now. He just does it for therapeutic reasons. But down the line, growth of character. What if that led him to become king? It's huge. That's absolutely what you call a character growth. And same with Violet, she is painting too. She paints as a way to communicate with people because she's unable to speak words. So she does it with pictures instead. And we've seen the first hint of that in Main Quest 2 when Carol forces Violet to paint. So we're getting the painting themes in already, even in episode 1, before we've even gone to the capital and met this king and seen this whole government structure. We're already getting the art themes and paint themes coming this early, which is great, because I'm all for having repeated themes and parallels in this game. So that's awesome, and even the fruits themselves are painters as well, so it's great. The road to 1K continues. Yay! You can do it, Forgotten, I believe it. RPG is all about the world building, yeah. For me, yes. I mean, everybody's different. You speak to some other people and they'll be like, nah, it's all about combat for me, some will say. And they couldn't give a damn about the story. The people, I find it hard to fathom because I'm so far from that, but there are, funnily enough, I've seen it, people who don't give a damn about the story and are all about combat, but they're not really the target audience for Raindrop Chronicles. I'd say if you're really going to fall in love with this game, you have to somewhat be someone who appreciates a good story. If you're looking for the next level of battle system in the next gen, no. It's not going to be that. And although the battle system I'm going for, like I talked a bit about it briefly earlier, it's on here under battle system on what's coming soon. Although there's someone who I'm going for who has a Patreon who builds this plugin, and he gets quite a bit of support for it. Although it's pretty good, it's still obviously not going to be like next gen or something. It's decent now for RPG Maker, I'll say that. So I am really looking forward to having to mess around with that once all the scene works for Main Quest 1 and 2 have been done and complete. And we're going to have loads more screenshot Saturdays once we start rolling out these Main Quest 1 and 2 seeds, folks. There'll be a lot more to show off online too, and the socials. Okay, now what's this? Oh, here was where we did the character arc. So near the end again, Nigel gets good enough at art to become king and could have a royal wedding with the blacksmith. The hero could attend the wedding after the coronation. Violet could get good enough at art to become queen. One of the fruits could get good enough at art to become king. Oh my god. Yeah, there's some really cool ideas here, folks, and this is why the government stream before the break was my favourite out of all the world building ones, because there was such we were coming up with endgame character arcs and plot point ideas, and that's really what the purpose of world building is for me. I mean, I like building the world to make it rich, for sure, because it's just fun to do that, but when it links in with what can actually happen, it makes it even more rewarding. So, oh my god, Ralph, thank you so much for those 100 biddies. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's have some hype for those bitters. Thanks for the subs and the bitters today, folks. I super appreciate this warm welcome back. I will have to wrap things up very soon, and I can't read all of the world building, unfortunately, and catches up. I've just skimmed through it, but one of the goals will be to make some Lore Bible articles of all of this, so we can have them public on the Lore Bible. And obviously we got Mets and Vagabond Dogs characters to make too. That those miscellaneous tasks are nice, easy tasks to do on stream if, say, you know, I need a bit of break from intense work or something. So, and then we got a list of all other things. And Forgotten says, oh, I just got an idea for a new barrel. Maybe we meet a wide barrel down the line, which is drunk all the time. The comedic relief with it's going to be glorious. Yeah, and funny enough, Forgotten, because that was a something that's been, funnily enough, requested a few times about a drunk barrel. It's a popular one, and I can see why, because it's funny. Funny enough, with something like that, we don't even necessarily have to make a whole new barrel character for that. We can, even though the current barrels aren't actually wine barrels, they could still be used as wine barrels. That could even be Elvira's story, or Carol's story herself, or even Hank's if he had his hole glued back in, or you know, Axel. Well, Barry would, I doubt he'd have alcohol put into him as an old barrel. Who knows how wacky this world could get. But yeah, because we talked about how putting things in barrels makes them feel things. For example, putting in herbs could make them go high. Putting sharp objects in could, you know, make them feel pain. There was a list of potential. There's this short. I think there could be more, but basically, the thinking of the barrel and their safety, such as the fact that they're made out of wood and could easily. They're not robots, right? They feel things too, and we got to think about that too to connect with the human vulnerable side of those characters and. What could happen to them if the wood got damaged, or you know, like things like that Forgotten mentioned. It's fun because it just makes the character feel a bit more layered and rich, and because we don't want people being like, well, these barrels, they're just like humans except barrels. They're no different really, but the fact is they are different from humans. They don't even have a digestive system or blood, you know, they don't draw blood because they don't have the same organs, and but their body isn't the same as humans or the humanoid races. So things are very different in barrel life, how things affect them, how they survive, their security. They don't poop because they don't eat. So what is important to barrels? They probably want to make sure they don't get destroyed from wear and tear, right? We had a stream a while ago about tragic backstories with barrels, and a few of you had some really good ideas about, you know, how they could be used for things that could like affect them, and you know, there was a list, and we'll definitely have to review that at some point, but it's all very fun. Hey Chubb, how you doing? Thank you so much for the 37 months, another huge sub number today. I appreciate that, Chubb. Thank you so much for stopping by and for that sub. I really appreciate you guys. And excuse the messy green screen, everybody. Lighting's dodgy in this new room, but we'll get it sorted. How are you doing, Chubb? How have things been since the last time we spoke? I'm finally back to streams. I feel Hank would be more of a whiskey aging barrel. Yeah, like even, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be wine. It could be another alcohol like whiskey, like we're saying. We'd make it work with the character, whoever it fit with best, right? Like, because it's pretty open at the moment. We don't know if it'd be a brand new barrel or whether it'd be one of the current ones. It all depends what their story outline is going to be along the way and what's going to work best with that character's particular character arc. Because we know that Hank at the moment has a hole, but he can get fixed up later in the game if you as the hero have his wood plank on you as your lucky charm, because the hero will have on him one of the possessions of one of the barrels. And there's going to be a ton of variables there. If you have Meryl's bra, for example, you'll be able to romance Axel if you wear it, which is absolutely, well, ridiculous, but too funny not to have in it. And it kind of gives the impression that Axel only loves Meryl for the bra, but there's some real potential there. Meryl having a character arc of heartbreak, for example, and all sorts. And some endings could be very different for Meryl and Axel in other playthroughs where you don't have the bra. She and Axel could be happily in love, and that would be very hard to watch. It would be very hard to watch the alternative version where Axel isn't in love with her if you've already seen the playthrough where he is. And yes. Did you take a break, or have I just missed your stream a lot? I've moved house, Chub. I've been off for about 6 weeks, I think, approximately. Under 2 months, but more than 1 month. Because there's been a lot of house renovation going on and workmen and all that. A lot of things, a lot of noise, a lot of hammering, drilling. So this is my first stream back. My first stream back since April. So I'm back to my regular stream schedules now, folks, and the next stream is a celebration stream 250, and there will be a showcase of something next stream, so that'll be fun, folks. You'll get the sneak peek if you're here, because I will not be showing it on social media, this showcase, just yet. It's not quite ready for that. But I want you guys to see the sneak peek of it. But once it's at a state, it'll get put on social media as well. So if you come to the stream, you'll get to see it before anyone else. So that'll be Thursday. Oh, you moved away from the family or with them? I know, I'm still with the family at the moment, Chub. So we all just moved to a new area because we wanted to change. Simple as that. And I feel really glad that we moved because we've saved a stray cat's life. Yeah, there's a stray cat living in our garden. He's been living here the whole time since the house was empty. And we've been feeding him and making him all better. And I'm going to put some pictures in the Adorable Pets channel. You guys can see him. We don't even know if he's a boy, but we think he is because there's no kittens lying around. But we don't know for sure. We won't know until we get him looked at. He stole your family. Yeah, we're all really in love with him. He's taken over our lives. I wake up thinking about the cat. I'm like, is the cat come? Is the cat here? We're obsessed. I definitely say that he's made the whole house move process a little bit more pleasant. Does this mean you aren't a Brummie? I was never a Brummie anyway, Chub. I live outside of Birmingham. But, you know, some people still think I am one because I'm from the Midlands. It's like, to some, if you live in England, you're a Londoner, even if you live in Newcastle or something. All right, everybody, so I think we'll close things up here. Yeah, what a chatty stream we've had, folks. So we're going to get into things with a special celebration stream next on Thursday, and what we'll see what we do the week after that. We'll pick something off the list, and we'll see what's ahead. We'll play it by ear. Quite as nice at the new place. Yeah, we don't have that terrible neighbour anymore, which is great. For sure, it's a lot more peaceful. That's for sure. I'm going to drop you guys off at Vagabond Dog stream, everybody, who popped in earlier. And so much has been going on with Vagabond over the last month. He's released loads of stuff, everybody. Okay, so we're going to go there. No trivia today because I forgot to reset the leaderboard, but we'll get into that next time. I miss so much. Yes, I'm ending now. Feel free to watch the VOD, folks, because I did have a good chat about things throughout this stream. So if you've missed any and you're only just coming in, feel free to have a little sneak peek at the VOD if you're curious on what was discussed. Thank you, Rex. I appreciate it. Everywhere between Liverpool and London is Brummie. Oh my god, look at my green screen. My goodness me. Okay, so I forgot how to write. Have I done it? I have. Okay, everybody, say hi to Vagabond, and I'm going to go off and have my pizza because we're having pizza tonight, and I'll see you all on Thursday for the special celebration stream. And anyone who's here on Thursday will see the thing first before the rest of the world. So take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks for hanging out and for all the love and support, everyone. All the subs and bits. Appreciate tons.